Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Not too bad. Not too bad. There you are.
So, I haven't used Zoom on my computer yet. So I'm
Oh, you
like,
haven't?
no, installing it. I've been doing it on my phone.
You
So,
sure you're not doing it from the Polaroid behind you there on your right?
no.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, it would be pretty cool. It's one of my favorite cameras. It was my mom and dad's from the '60s, and it actually
Amazing.
still works, and I use it.
Oh,
So,
come on.
yeah,
That's fantastic.
yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's great. Do you take it on travels every now and again?
Yeah, I do actually. So
Yeah,
it just depends on where I'm going and for how long I'm going to be gone. So the last time I used it, I brought it to my boyfriend's in
amazing.
El Paso. So we went to a fair and we took a bunch of pictures. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's
It doesn't have
great.
the
That's great.
best quality pictures because
Yeah. Yeah, but they're retro and vintage and amazing, so it
yeah,
makes it all worthwhile for
I
sure.
love the pictures for sure. It gives it that it just gives it this like kind of image that it's just like grainy and different than
Right.
than you would get like the new Polaroid cameras that they have now. So I love
Right.
it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You don't even have to use a filter on your phone or anything to get that look. It's already there, so it's even better.
Very Hilton.
Yeah, all set, all set. So it's nice to meet you finally. I know we've been sort of chatting back and forth for the past, I don't know, maybe month, I guess, a little longer than a month or something like that. But all this fun stuff going around and you having T-shirts all over the world and taking pictures of it and of authentic ginger shirts, which is great. So it's nice to see somebody else repping the brand out there in the world. And I guess in your job, you're traveling quite frequently. So
I'm going to 3 new destinations next week, so I'm pretty
oh
excited.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, so where does it take you for the next three?
So I'll start off in Crete, Greece.
Yes.
Then I'll go to Djibouti, Africa, and Shannon, Ireland to end off. And then I don't know where
No.
after that.
Oh man, that's awesome. And you've never been to those three places.
Nope, those are all
Oh,
new. So
that's so
that'll
cool.
make 22 countries total.
Wow. Wow. Now is that constant? So you're obviously where's your main airport?
I am based out of Orlando.
Orlando. Yeah.
So
Cool.
I live in Tampa, but I just do the commute over. It's about an hour and 15-minute
Yeah.
drive. So it's
Yeah.
not too bad at all, actually. So it's and I would much rather live in Tampa than have to deal with the Disney, Universal Studios traffic. It's a totally different ballgame over there. I'm like, I'll stay right here.
You'll stay right there in Clearwater or wherever you're at and
Exactly.
do
We have
some,
Clearwater Beach. Yep.
there you go, right there. Do some fishing, whatever you want to do, and then head to work.
Yep.
So yeah, so your last trip was Germany.
I did. I started
Nice.
in Germany, and
Yeah.
that photo that I had taken was actually at, I can't remember the name of the castle right now, but we did a hike up to this castle. We were in Ramstein.
Yeah.
And so we went to this castle, and that's where we took a bunch of cool pictures because that just had the best view.
Yeah.
After that, we went to Kuwait, and then we went, I stopped off in Italy, but you can't stay in Italy still right now. They're still closed
Right.
off. And then we made our way all the way across to California. We went to LA and then hopped around the United States a bunch, and then I got to come home. It was about a
Crazy. How many? 10
10,
days?
10
Yeah,
days.
yeah. What's Kuwait like?
Ooh, Kuwait. So I really like Kuwait. As far as the country goes, I think it's like really interesting and really neat. It's very, very hot. Like the heat
Yeah,
there when you get off the plane, even at night, midnight when we landed, it was 98 degrees at midnight.
at
And
midnight.
the air is just so thick. It's a different feeling. I can't even explain. It's like
Yeah,
being out in Phoenix, I would imagine, but just a little different.
right.
Um, but it's a really cool country. A lot of the places smell like incense, and when you
Hmm.
go into the city, they have the prayers blasting on
Yeah,
speakers throughout the entire city, so you can just hear the prayers all day every time they're supposed to pray. So it's just like
cool.
it's kind of a culture shock, but it's amazing at the same time.
Right,
So
right.
I,
And did you get a chance to go out and do some dining?
I didn't this time because we customs was closed when we got there,
Oh,
so we
oh,
weren't allowed to leave the airport.
oh, okay.
But I have gone and I've gotten like street food and stuff. So it's
Right.
just they have the Eid al-Mubarak, which is like a big flea market, I guess you could say. It's the best way I can describe it, but it's open all the time.
Cool.
So I've done that, and you get really cool, like, I like the desserts.
Yeah.
So I do all the sweets and everything. It's cool because everything's made out of like nuts and stuff. So they grind to a fine paste and make them into little pastries. It's similar to Indian food, I would say. Yeah.
You've been there too, right? And did you say, or you have not? Have you not been to India?
I have not yet. It's on
You
my
have
list.
not. Yeah.
That's what it's probably going to be a leisure stop for me.
Yes.
Work, I don't know if I'll ever make it to India, unfortunately.
Yeah.
That's like on the top of my list because I hands down love it. That's like my favorite cuisine out of
Right.
everything.
Yeah, I would agree. It's awesome. And Middle Eastern is pretty good too, as far as where you were over in the world, and all that fun culture food would be amazing. I'm basically a vegan, so it's hard to it'd be hard to go to some of those countries where their main courses are usually chicken and beef and stuff like that. But otherwise, you probably be more than half available to eat non-meat stuff. There's tons of it out there.
For sure. I mean, if you're vegan or vegetarian, Indian food is like the way to go.
That's right. Yeah.
I do a lot of vegetarian.
Do you?
Food. Oh yeah, we have some great strictly vegetarian restaurants around Tampa.
Yep.
So we even have some vegan places, but I'm not. I don't do a lot of dairy, and I don't do a lot of like cheese, like anything. I don't do a lot of dairy stuff, I guess you could say. But as far as anything vegetarian, I'm good with. But I don't. I think that vegan would be too hard for me.
Yeah, it's the cheese you wouldn't want to give up, right?
Well, it's cheese. I don't even eat a lot of cheese, but there are certain things that like I need to have cheese on. I'm like, it's just cheese.
So pizza is one of those. I do pizza without cheese.
Without cheese. My friend does vegan cheese. She's a vegan.
That's right.
So I bring her chocolates from all over the world. So she'll eat the chocolate though. That's the one thing she'll break for. She's like, I can't ever turn down anything you bring. So
right.
right here. So
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. So I'm going to ask you too, and you're asked this a lot, I'm sure, from your friends, or at least you've been asked this before, is your favorite stop you've ever been to so far in your career?
It's hard. I have a top two because they're very, very diverse. Japan and Bulgaria.
Bulgaria. Wow.
Yes, nobody thinks about Bulgaria. They're like, really, Bulgaria? And I'm like, Bulgaria is amazing. It's such a beautiful country, and the people are just so kind. And I was actually there on International Women's Day, and in the United States, it's just so different being in places for international holidays. They actually celebrate here. It's kind of like we don't talk about it, and it's like, oh, you'll be on Instagram. Oh, cool, it's International Women's Day, whatever. There, me and my friend were walking around and getting food because there everyone walks. There are cars, but everybody walks there. You walk through the park and there's just families hanging up hammocks and just reading books. They're not on their phones constantly. Like it's just a different culture there. So it's like really, really interesting and neat. And the food was really good, and it's not as developed as we are. So it's like they're still like having more of an old school mindset on certain things. So I think that's really neat. Cool. The architecture is amazing. I love churches. Everywhere I go, if there's a church, I go to the church. Like churches. So that's like my one thing that I do. And then Japan is just.
It's Japan. I know what you mean. Yeah.
It's the food.
Yeah. So I've watched several documentaries on Japan, and the latest one I watched is a British actor by the name of James May, and he takes you through Japan from top to bottom on maybe a 7 or 8 episode excursion on Netflix. I can't remember what it's called, but I was hooked on the first episode. I wasn't hooked at as much as, he's very funny and all that kind of stuff, but it was just seeing Japan in this light was really interesting. I haven't seen it like that before. And I was like, wow, like I'm amazed, but I'm mainly amazed by the scenery, the oceanic scenery.
Oh yeah.
That's there. And I know it's surrounded by water, but when you think of Japan, you think really, when you think of anywhere in Asia, you think busy, 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 busy.
Yep.
And that is true, but in the northern parts and the southern parts, you can go from winter on the northern part to summer on the, and it's not that much of a difference. I was just amazed at the diversity that it has there as far as the ecosystem goes.
Oh, 100%. Like I was able to do Okinawa, a little town called Sendai, so Okinawa is more of a military-ish
Yep.
town. And then you got Sendai, which was the little city that got hit by that tsunami.
Yes.
So that's all being rebuilt. And then they were going to send us to Atlanta, and we were like, we don't want to sit in Atlanta for 3 days. So can you just let us stay here a little longer?
Hey, that's awesome.
Stay, because why not?
Yeah.
So we ended up getting a whole day in Tokyo. So
oh my God,
it was like a day and a half, but we only went for the 1 day because it's kind of a trek to get into the city. And I would say Tokyo is, if you've ever been to New York City, I love New York City. I'm from New York originally, but there's nothing else that compares to New York City, right?
Yeah.
Tokyo is like 5 times bigger than New York City. I was like shell shocked almost, because I'm like, I did not expect this at all. Like,
right.
It's just massive, and the buildings are bigger, and Disney World is right. Disneyland, Tokyo is like right in the city, and it's like you have all these like crazy things there that you just never seen before, and it just blew my mind.
That's
and
amazing.
They're walking through the buildings, these gigantic skyscrapers, and there's this little tiny house that's just like they built around it because it has significance to the culture there, and they just didn't bother with it. So it's like it's just crazy. I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah.
So that's why it's like very different from Bulgaria to Japan. But the food, food, man, it's like I'm spoiled now. And we got the seafood there. We went to the seafood market, and that was just a cool experience. But we got oysters, and when you get oysters here, they're like this big. I love raw oysters. So people think I'm weird for that, but it's like, it's like they're like little oysters. They're the oyster. I have pictures. It's bigger than my hand. Like the actual meat in the oyster was about that big. Like you had to cut it into 7 pieces because you couldn't eat the whole, it grossed me out a little bit, because if you eat oysters, it's like a weird consistency.
Yeah, I don't eat oysters.
So it's like a slimy, snotty consistency, but I love the flavor of them. It's like the sea, but these were just, I've never seen, and all the seafood was very on it. Crazy. I'm like, what are they doing to the seafood here?
Right.
Like, chicken's normal size, but the oysters are like
that's
gigantic.
Crazy.
It was cool. It was really.
So you go back there again, it sounds.
I will eventually.
You will.
I definitely will. Oh, and they have like 500 flavors of Kit Kat. I only got home with 13. I got home with 13 flavors, but they have like about 500 in total.
That's wild. Are you allowed to bring back different things versus a passenger?
Yeah, I mean, well, I have to claim them on my customs forms and stuff like that. But honestly, it just depends on like what I'm bringing back. And if it's like a candy bar, I'm not going to say I bought a candy bar, stuff like that. But certain things, I can get away with depending on what country I'm in and where I'm going, I can get away. Like when I fly out today, I don't have to limit my liquid size.
Right.
So, like when I go, and I don't even have to go through security. Like I don't have to take my shoes off. And it's a card called known crew member.
Yeah.
And you basically it's like a free pass to walk, but you have all the background checks and stuff like that.
Sure.
And you can get random to any time. So you'd still obviously have to, not that you bring anything crazy, but they can search your stuff. So it's like.
Oh, well. Yeah. When you were in Japan, did you spent the extra day or so there, extra 2 days or whatever it was, 3 days, I guess. Did you find you stood out? Did people look at your hair and kind of
took pictures of me? Everyone, because our crew is very diverse. But I'm the only redhead in our entire company. We're a airline, but I'm the only redhead in the whole company.
What's the airline?
It's called National Air Cargo. It's
okay.
charter company, so they mainly do like 747 like cargo stuff. So like when everything happened, we were transporting masks and stuff, going to China a lot. So I have my Chinese visa. Never been, but if I have to go, I can go now.
Wow.
But yeah, we do a lot of like special groups. Like Monday, I flew NASA employees down to South America. We did some rescue missions during the quarantine. We went and saved people who were stuck on the cruise ships for like 2-3 months and brought them to another location so they could all get home, because they're all from like Brazil and Honduras and all those places. So it was like the crew members. So it's a different kind of flying, but so yeah. So out of all my employees, though, I'm the only ginger. So when you're walking through countries like that, people definitely like, especially like Kuwait, for example, too, and Japan, like those places, people just look at you because you're not only fair skinned, but you have this hair that they're just like, what is that? I've only ever seen that on, like people were legit, like my crew members were like, they're taking pictures of you. And I'm like, I don't know. Just let them take the picture.
Yeah, it's true. Because I mean, in everyday life, they're not going to see that many redheads in those countries. Although it does say there's a few in all those countries, but I mean, it's not like it would be. I mean, depending on how you're wearing your hair too. Like I can imagine if you're wearing your hair, straight and that kind of thing, then it's just kind of that shimmer of red. I mean, they'd be like, "What is that?" And they'd want to go touch it. People want to just touch it because it's such a different and unique color, as we know. 271 million of us. Well, I'm not, but everyone else in my family is, other than my wife. But so yeah, it's really cool to hear those kind of stories. And do you have any stories of your hair color in any of those trips you've been on?
No, but I did do passenger flying for a little while, like regular commercial flying, and I kid you not, every single, like I always got stuck in the front because I was the most junior in that company. I worked for Allegiant for a little while, and every single flight, every single one, somebody would walk on the plane, oh my gosh, your hair is just so beautiful, and all my crew members just knew to expect it. They were like, Jessica, here she comes on with her hair. And it's like, 'cause it's like long, it's like really long and it's really thick, and so it's like, and I always style it different. So, but people will touch it sometimes randomly. They'll just go grab it. I'm like, what are you doing? You're touching your hair. It's so weird, So but I'm used to it now. But it's just funny because there's never a time where somebody doesn't comment on my hair. And it's weird because I always tell people, I've had this hair for going on 32 years now. I look in the mirror and I just see me, and I don't even recognize this as red hair anymore, just because it's part of me. But when other people point it out, I'm like, yeah, I guess it's really nice. It's cool. It's pretty. But it's like my hair. So it's normal. To other people, it's not. So it's like hard to.
Yeah. Meanwhile, they're dying to have it.
Yes. my mom, my whole life growing up, my mom always dyed her hair red.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, because she's brunette. I'm the only redhead in my whole entire family. So as well, I'm the oddity. I'm the only one with this skin tone and freckles, and I just came out, that a little anonymous, whatever, It's like I'm that mutation.
Yes, that's wild. So I'm wondering where that comes from then. It's so strange because, but yet it's not. I mean, there's a shit ton of people that carry this mutation gene that they don't even know they have, and it's just the luck of the draw. It's just that there's not as many people that have it. But I mean, obviously my wife and I have it because, we have 3 daughters that are under the age of 10. They're all red hair. And then I have a 21-year-old son who has red hair as well. So that's crazy. We don't have red hair. So that's, it's just wild. So obviously this gene lives within myself, just because.
So, generations ago that you just like something happened when you're only meant to have the ginger kids.
That's it. Ginger kids only in this family. Yeah.
Both of my sisters, they each have kids as well. And my sisters were always like, man, we hope we never have a redheaded kid, because they always picked on me about it. And so my one sister, her daughter came out ginger, but her hair is like a really coppery color. And then
Yes.
my other sister, her son came out with red hair, and his is lighter than mine. So it's like still, it's very different. But they both each got a redheaded kid, and I'm like, that's what you get.
That's what you get. Yeah. But you know, it's interesting that point you brought up. So when you're growing up with red hair, how, was it just kind of making fun in a fun way, or did you have some serious kind of blows as a young kid as far as really? Yeah.
Oh yeah, I
In New
died.
York, right?
Well, so I'm from New York originally, and then we moved to. I grew up basically in North Carolina.
Oh, okay.
Like that's where like most of my memories are and stuff. Like it's second grade is when we moved
Yeah.
there, and that like throughout all of elementary school, I definitely got picked on. I got the carrot top. I got like all sorts of weird questions, but I got picked on a lot for my hair, and it's weird because I say that redheads are like a good red wine because we just get better with age is my
Yeah.
opinion, because when we're kids there's a lot of us that honestly, like as a breed of people, I feel like some of us as children are just not the cutest, and
I know
like,
what you mean.
we're
You know what you
pretty
mean.
people, but it's like we have like an odd thing because we're still growing into ourselves, and I think
Yeah.
that's what it was for me. It's like, when I was a kid, I had no eyelashes, no eyebrows, things
Right.
like that. So, but yeah, so I got picked on. So as soon as I got in high school, my mom started letting me highlight my hair. I was almost completely blonde.
Oh no.
As soon as I, like probably around 18, I dyed my hair really dark for the first
Oh
time.
no.
It was like really like a dark, dark brown.
Yeah.
And then I kept dyeing it all the way up until went to cosmetology school, and every time my hair, my roots would come in, they'd be like, girl, who gave you hot roots? That means like your roots are messed up
I know
somewhere.
what you. Yeah.
They're like, who gave you hot roots? I'm like, no, that's my natural hair color. No one believed me forever.
Oh no.
Whatever, you're lying. You
Yeah.
wouldn't dye that. Nobody would dye that color. And then after I had my son, I just was like, screw it, and I chopped all my hair off, had a pixie cut, and let it grow out red.
No shit.
Yeah. So
So
I
that must have looked really cool. And when you went pixie, and then as it's growing, you still have to cut it to keep the dark brown coming out. So you must have had like a section of brown hair that was, and then your red hair is coming.
Well, I highlighted it to where
Oh.
it blended, so it wasn't as bad. It wasn't
Okay.
that bad. I was doing hair, I know this is so, I like did work it out to where you couldn't really tell. And then finally, once it all just, once it came out, I cut a little bit off, and then I just
Right.
let it grow. So
Yeah,
I always had really short hair. And then once I got all of that color and stuff out, I just started letting it grow. And now it's almost like it's all the way down to the bottom of my back right now. So
Wow.
yeah.
So in that cosmetology, so you have a degree in cosmetology as well?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I did that for about 10 years. I did professional hair and makeup, and I've been published in some, I mainly did weddings and special events. So I've been published in like the Knot magazine. I've done a lot of like blogs and things
Amazing.
like that.
Yeah.
I worked for the PGA Tour.
No shit.
I worked for Home Shopping Network.
Awesome.
So I've worked with like a lot of random celebrities and, all sorts of stuff doing that. And I kind of got tired of the industry, and that's when I was like, I'm going to apply to be a flight attendant.
That's something, hey. From hair and makeup to flight attendant.
Yeah. So I have the best of both worlds, because I can, still like, all the girls are always like, hey, will you do my hair today? Will you do my hair? So I can still have a little bit of fun with it and get creative, but
Yeah, and it's been interesting with COVID. So my wife's a stylist as well, and she's been a stylist for almost 20 years. COVID kind of just ruined a lot of, the expectations have been really interesting. And here in where we live in Eastern Canada, they opened up the salons about, I'd say 3 weeks ago now. And the minute that they announced that they were opening salons, like the calendar just got booked right up. And it's, she's almost, I think she's kind of ready to let it go. As far as, she's had enough, I think. Like, it's time to move on, and some maybe similar to what you're experiencing or what you have experienced. I don't want to do this anymore. And, but it's amazing how many people just swamped her with like, can we come over? Can you cut our hair outside? Can you color? So she said, we're not going to do colors. We'll just do cuts. And I'll just you have to wear a mask. And so there's a lot of restrictions around that industry right now here in Canada. I'm not sure if it's loosened up in the States yet or not for salons, but well, especially where you are in Florida. I mean, it's a hot spot right now from what I'm seeing.
I don't know. Like that's the thing. It's crazy because honestly, I think I already had it. I think I had it back in November because I was
I think I had it too.
I got really, really sick, and it was like a sick that I had never felt in my life. I was like, this is worse than the flu. Like,
right.
So it's part of me it kind of, I think it's been around a little long, you know, we all have our speculations.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know, but even as myself, for the first time since this whole thing happened 2 weeks ago, one of my friends actually tested positive for it, and she's the first person that I personally know that has it. So that's kind of a weird thing, but you know, I don't really know. You keep hearing stories of all these people getting it, and like, you know, here all the bars opened up, and then they started shutting the bars back down, and because all the employees were getting it and passing it around. But it's like, it's still one of those things where it's all here. You just hear about it. I haven't seen a lot of it yet, which is the crazy part. And even traveling the world, I still haven't seen a lot of it. It's just you're seeing what's going on, but you don't see it.
Yeah, you don't see it. Yeah. No, from all the news that we see up here, you know, Florida's been on the news as being the hot spot right now, and
that's
you
crazy.
know,
I didn't know that. You're giving me
yeah. CNN, they're doing their coverage. Not saying I agree with what they post and put up there, but
yeah, you know,
it is what it is.
I think it's weird too because when COVID happened as well, you know, everyone started going outside, and the whole thing about it is UV kills the bacteria or whatever, the virus, and everyone's always, you know, more people than I've ever seen in Tampa have been outside.
Right.
It's hot here. It's humid. It's, you know, it's like whatever, but the beaches are just way packed, and you know, like even alongside, but it's not like people are clumped in groups or anything, so I feel like you're not even close enough. So it's just kind of weird to see that it's getting worse, but nobody's really, like, you still can't do the restaurants. You have to be like apart in the restaurants, even the bars that I went out with a friend, you know, a week and a half ago, and even at the bar, like, you can't order at the bar, and you have to sit at tables, and you can't have a certain amount of people it's like still very restricted. So it's interesting. I'm like, how is this getting so bad when you see everything and everyone's doing the right thing, and they're still wearing the masks, and we're still social distancing? So it's weird. I'm like, I don't get it. I don't see it.
So it's news propaganda. We'll just put it out there.
There's something about it. We'll all see one day. It'll come.
Yeah, well, the truth will come out. Yeah, exactly. All right. So you know, I kind of know that, you know, you've had some passions in your life. You're in a passion position right now with the airline. What do you like to do in downtime? What's your activity for downtime? I mean, I know it's probably rare that you have a lot of downtime, but
it's funny that you say that, because I have 2 kids.
Yep.
So my son is 7 and my daughter turns 10 tomorrow.
Oh, nice.
So they're a little bit older, so it's really nice. They're awesome. They're such good kids. So like, we hang out all the time. When I'm home, like, I always have them, because my boyfriend lives in El Paso, Texas, which works out really nicely, because when I'm home, I can just focus on me and the kids. Yep. And then, you know, I'll go see him once every month or every 2 months for a weekend, and, you know, we're good. But so I just honestly hang out with my kids. We'll go to the pool. I mean, on a normal day life, we would go to the Adventure Island, but we do a lot of outdoorsy things. We have a lot of springs in Florida. We have a lot of rivers, and, you know, the beach is like hands down one of our favorite things to do.
For sure. Which one?
I go to Clearwater a lot, and I do St. Pete Beach a lot, and then I also do Honeymoon Island. It just depends on, you know, the day, because some beaches are crowded. I don't like the crowds. I don't like the tourist thing. It depends, but my friends have boats, so we do the boating a lot too. My brother has jet skis, so we do the jet skis. So we're
right on.
Outdoor during the summer. We're always outside.
Yeah, perfect.
Other than that, I watch TV, and I have a bit of dragon, and I live a simple life when I'm not traveling.
See, I bet you're about no more than 25 minutes to half an hour from Amalie Arena, where you could go watch hockey on a regular basis. And I bet you don't. Do you watch hockey?
Okay, so I like to go to the games. I do go to the
Okay.
Lightning's games. We had an awesome team this past year, is what I
Really?
heard. I was like, oh, the Lightnings are like top in the league and everything. So,
Yeah. Okay. Good. So it's there. You got some hockey going on there.
oh yeah, for
I'm a
sure. We're big.
fanatic.
Everywhere we go in Tampa, it's the Tampa Bay Lightning, and then we have the
Yeah.
Buccaneer Stadium for football,
That's
which
right.
hopefully this year we'll do a little better.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
got some good players. Tom
Yeah.
Brady, and Gronk is coming out of retirement, so we have exciting things going on.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
we got a
Yeah.
lot of cool. And then we have the Yankees training stadium here.
Oh yeah. I didn't know that. That's cool.
It's right across the street from the Buccaneer Stadium, but all of the training got canceled this year because
Of course.
of COVID. My
Yeah,
uncle,
they're opening it back up again. So I heard yesterday that Major
they're
League
the
Baseball is
first
coming
ones, right?
back. So yeah, training season opens pretty soon, maybe within the next 3 weeks. So I don't know if they'll go to their home clubs or whether they'll go down to Florida and do their training down there, because a lot of them go down there for the spring training, right? So it's
Yeah, that's where they come down. So
yeah,
that's cool.
good.
We got some cool things here.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
Tampa.
Okay, so I want to ask you about your not your visit, but I think perhaps your boyfriend's visit to Halifax.
It was my visit.
Your visit.
Oh, yeah.
So did I see you there?
No. Okay, so I'll tell you what happened.
Yeah.
We landed really, really late at night, and
Yeah.
we're walking through the airport, and this lady happened to have a dog, and so we're sitting there messing with the dog, and we're next to your kiosk, and I look over, and I'm like, oh my God, it's my kiosk. And I was like, it's an authentic ginger clothing company. And so
Right.
like I sent a picture to my boyfriend, and I was like, he goes, you should get a shirt. And I'm like, they're closed because everything was like locked
Yep.
up. So I was like, he's like, oh, well, maybe go online. And so we had been traveling. So like, I was like, yeah. And I put it in my notes.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah.
if I see cool things, like I go back to reference. And so I put it in my notes, and like, we literally did not bring it up again. And that was last May. And
No
so
way.
it did not come back up. Like, and so the funny thing is, so for Christmas, he was like, he's like, he sent me the shirt, basically. Like, he ordered the shirt from you guys and had it mailed to my house. And I'm like, how did you remember that? Like, how did you remember? I don't know how he does it, but I'll say something and I'll never, like this hair blow dryer that I wanted. We were watching TV or something when I was with him one day, or something on the internet, and this commercial, I was like, oh, that looks really cool. I want that. And like 3 months later, it shows up with it. I'm like, how do you? I don't even remember these things. Like, I'll put in my notes, but like, like for me to go back and reference my notes, I have to be in a specific place to like.
Yeah.
I'm like that. I'll go back in like a year and I'll be like, oh yeah.
Right. I know. Yeah. I probably have 1,000 notes in your phone too. I mean, I always jot stuff in my iPhone in my notes section, and I go.
And then you lose them, and then you go through. Mm-hmm.
I know.
That's how it happened. I thought it was the
crazy
ever.
Yeah.
He blew my mind with that one, because I don't even know how he remembered that at all. But so I was like, this is the best gift ever.
Fantastic. Yeah. We had that kiosk for 1 month, and it was part of a program that was offered to small businesses in the area, where you could go out there and try your business out in a retail setting at no cost. One of the universities in town was a partnership with them in the airport. So when we got that, we started there in late April last year. And then we went for the full run of May, which had 31 days in it. So it was fantastic. Right. And it was like, and I met so many cool people, and it was one of our best sales months we've had, and so, but there was a lot of stories, and I say, did I meet you? And I probably would have recognized if I did, because I was out there myself for the full time. So I because I wanted to be the one to talk to people and to engage and everything else, and find out more than just like, as you can probably figure out, when you put a company like this out there and build it the way we've built it, it becomes sort of about the shirts and more about, where you're coming from and why, and the story behind what it is that is drawing you to this clothing line. And for you to sort of come into Halifax and go, holy shit, there's a sign there. And that's my son too, by the way. My son was in that sign. And so to see that and go, oh my God, there's clothing just for me. That's the reaction that it's the best reaction to have as a company, because why wouldn't it be? I mean, and then, you know, again, like you say, for your boyfriend to keep that going and think about that and send it through for Christmas time, I was like, yeah, that's awesome. So
It's a cool feeling. And I honestly, it is hands down one of my favorite shirts. Like I love the quality of the fabric and
yeah,
everything. Like I've washed it 100 times already because I've worn it a bunch and it like
yep,
faded and like the print is still on there. So I was
yeah,
like, I was waiting for a good time because like I wanted to send you guys a picture of in the shirt. You know, I was like, oh, this would be cool.
yeah.
And I just like, and when we went to Germany, I was like, this is gonna be it because I knew we were going someplace cool, and so I bring it on every trip. It definitely gets worn a lot because I love it so much. So
So you need to start. See, so what you need to do now is that all these places you go, you need to take pictures of it every single place you go, and like,
I was thinking,
yeah, build up this this ginger travel something, and then you'll be running blogs for us.
you know, because I like, everyone tells me you need to start doing like a travel blog or something, and I'm like, I don't even know how to like, because I've never been, you know, super like I post things on the internet and whatnot,
Yeah,
but you know, I don't know, when I started traveling is when I really started posting more because
sure.
I do like the history of the places, and you know, I'm getting more. When I started traveling, it really opened my eyes up to all of that.
Right.
Like I wanted to see those things, but I didn't realize how it would change me on the inside to
Yep.
start seeing those things, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
So
Totally.
now I'm kind of like, well, maybe I should, now that I've gotten more used to it and I, you know, and more of the shock factor is out of it. Cause in the beginning it was kind of like so busy when I first started flying, and now I'm
Right.
like, okay, I'm used to it. I can do it. So I'm more conscious of those things. So I was thinking about doing that. I was like, cause especially when I go to Ireland, I was like, I'm bringing the shirt.
Yeah. Right.
I want to go see the System
Absolutely.
O'Hare. That's like a ginger place, Ireland.
Yeah. And you know what? You'll probably come back. We'll have another conversation. You'll say, I didn't see as many redheads as I thought I'd see, which I think is, I don't know if it's that. People say Scotland is the place to go for all the redheads.
Mm-hmm.
Ireland, some people have said that's all I saw was redheads. And then some people come back from Ireland and they've said, I think I saw 2 people over a 2 week span. I'm like, what? It's
Yeah.
impossible. It's Ireland. I mean, we know that they carry the majority of the world's population of red hair. They were just out, not out.
It's funny because I go to Iceland a lot, and every
Yep.
time I go to Iceland, people try, or like even when I was in Sweden, like any Scandinavian country, people try
Yep.
to talk to me in their native language because they assume that I am whatever. Like even when I was in Germany, like people would try to talk to me in German, like
Right.
so it's kind of interesting. There are places that are predominantly like it's like a fair skin,
Yep.
you know, you just kind of fit in and you blend well, and no, and you're not very different, you
Right.
know, much. So it's like, okay, well, at least I don't look American.
Yeah.
That's kind of nice. Like I'm proud to be American, but at the end of the day, I'm like, it's, you know, I don't want to be like pointed at or like, you know, she's
She's an
American.
American.
Cool. So certain places, and I'm like, no, I don't. I speak English. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. So, but Ireland, yeah, and that's one of my. I was supposed to go last year, and I got concussed in Puerto Rico. They
Oh
slammed
no.
the taxi driver accidentally hit me in the right here in the forehead
What?
with the door to the car, and I got a huge like Norway lump on my face.
No way.
Home. Yeah, I was so miserable. I was like, I don't want to go home. They're like, you need to go home. You're concussed.
Wow, that's too bad. And you ruined your trip.
Yeah, I did, but I got sent out like a week later, and that's actually when I saw the shirt because I got sent home for the concussion. They went to Ireland and they did a couple trips, and then I got cleared to go back to work because I
Yeah.
don't, you know, if I can work, I'm gonna work. So they cleared me to go back, and they sent me back out on the trip. And when I met up with them, it was in Gander.
No way.
Yeah, and
Newfoundland.
so then
Yeah.
we went to Halifax because you can't get anywhere from Gander, like
No.
nowhere. It's a puddle jumper. I don't like Gander.
Yeah.
Just saying, it's a little odd to me. It's a
Yeah,
little.
it's Newfoundland in general is a different spot, but it's beautiful and gorgeous.
It is.
But yeah, you have to get there when it's beautiful and gorgeous because
Yeah.
it just doesn't happen as often. When you went from Gander to Halifax as a quick jump, and then from Halifax out. Did you
I
stay long in Halifax or just
uh
overnight?
no, I think we just went through the airport, and we were just because sometimes like we'll travel for up to like 20 hours in a day
Yeah.
just to get where we need to go.
Yeah.
Like so it always depends. But yeah, like every time we go to Gander, it's like you have to take like it's like you go from Louisiana to Houston, Houston to Toronto, Toronto to Halifax, Halifax to Gander, and you're literally just taking like 100 flights to get to Gander.
Yep. Yep. That's right.
Nowhere, but
But if you're a private company, wouldn't you just be able to fly wherever you want?
No, because our plane, we only have a certain amount of planes. So like I do a lot of positioning.
Yeah.
So like when I went to Germany, the plane was already overseas. And we just got a new aircraft, and one of them was in maintenance. So we're doing a lot of transition right now.
Yeah.
But so I flew on Lufthansa to Germany.
Wow.
Which is nice because I still get paid half of my pay rate. Yep. So if I'm on the plane for 10 hours, I get paid for 5, which isn't bad.
Yeah.
Just to sit and eat.
Sure. Yeah. Why not?
Okay, I'll sit here and eat. You guys work, thanks.
Yeah. That's
and then
right.
you go and you get to spend the day wherever, because usually if we do commuting, they'll let us have a day to adjust to the time and stuff like that. So it was perfect because we landed. I took a nap, landed, had breakfast, and then went on the hike up to the castle. And that was that day. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fantastic. What a fun life.
It's cool. It's interesting. It's never a dull moment at all.
No, well, if you get back to Halifax, you really need to take at least some time to get down into the city, because it's quite something. You've seen cities like it before, but in a small scale. I guarantee you. It's very old, very century, early centuries, and I don't even know how to say that, but it's extremely old, 1800 sort of.
Oh wow!
Okay. Yeah. It's really cool stuff. But I mean, it is a small place in Canada, and everyone goes to Toronto, but it's neat to have a chance to travel to all these different places. That's really cool.
Yeah, I like taking advantage of it, because there are a lot of the places I do go to. A lot of people just wouldn't think, like Bulgaria, for example. Who have you ever met that's been like, yeah, I really want to go to Bulgaria? Nobody. I've never heard anybody.
I've never heard anybody say it.
You don't think of Eastern Europe. When you think of Europe, you think of Greece and Spain and Italy and France, and it's like you don't think of Romania and Bulgaria and all those Eastern European countries. But those are actually, those are the ones that still hold a lot of I feel like a lot of the Western European countries are very Americanized, I guess you could say. Not Americanized, but like you go there and you're like, okay, it's cool and it's different, but it's still like, it's a lot of English, but over there it's like authentic. It's just different. It's a different world.
Yeah, it is what it is. Did I hear you saying you're flying out today?
Yes, I am. I'm going to go see my boyfriend.
Oh,
I'm going to go see him because I haven't seen him in 2 months. So I'm flying out there. We have an Airbnb, which is like we've tried all of the different Airbnbs in El Paso. Yeah. And El Paso, I really, really like. A lot of people are like, oh, that's kind of weird, but it has a cute little mountain range. It's very hot this time of year, so I'm not looking forward to it because it's 105 degrees today, which but wow. I love El Paso. It's just like a different culture. It's very clean there, and I don't know. It's a very artsy community, and I love the Spanish culture of it. So it's just, we always have a good time. But I met him. I didn't meet him on the plane. I met him went on a layover over like a year and some change ago. So I don't know. It just worked out. It was my perfect.
So this is the day, the once every 2 months day.
Yeah, this is the day. I'm really excited. So I won't get there till late tonight, and he has to work tomorrow. He's in the Army, so he'll do his thing tomorrow, and I'll just hang out until he gets off work, and then we'll go eat. And I've made friends there now, so every time I go, we all get together in a big group, and it's like a thing because I'm in town. So it's a great time.
You don't take your kids with you, or do you take them every now and again?
I haven't taken them yet. He did come here. He came here right after Christmas for the first time because Army is weird. But he actually met my kids then for the first time, and they see him. We FaceTime every single day. That's how we keep it going. And if we didn't have that, so they met him a bunch on FaceTime, and so once the weather cools down, I do want to take them. We've talked about it, so I'll probably take them in the fall or the winter time because there's a lot to do out there, and it's a different kind of scenery, and I think it would be awesome for them to go. And I just, I'm like, no, we're not going in the summer.
Yeah. It's where is El Paso located in that state? I can't remember quite.
Literally the most western corner of the state. So you know how like it has like that little
you do?
Yeah, it's like that little, and then it goes into Arizona and New Mexico. Well,
It's
El
right there.
Paso borders Juarez, and it's Juarez is like the most dangerous city in Mexico.
Really?
El Paso is named the safest city in America, so they border each other. But like,
Wow.
I can't go to Juarez, and he's not allowed to go to Juarez because he's in the military. But
Yeah.
I don't know if I would ever even want to go there because
Wow.
there's a chance you just might not come back.
Yeah. That's,
So, but
don't need that.
it's weird though because you drive. There's a part of the interstate. It's the west side of town.
Yeah.
So you go on the interstate and literally like you look over to your right if you're going east. You can look to your right and you're like hovering right next to Juarez. And if you threw a stick, you could probably throw it into Mexico. That's how close you are. Because every time we go, my phone says "Welcome to Mexico." And
Oh yeah.
the craziest part is it's just like there's such a massive difference between like the houses and stuff.
Yeah.
So you look over there and there's like shacks and they're like falling apart and like crumbled and graffitied, and it's just like it looks like a third world country. And then on our side we have these houses on the hill that are like beautiful and stuff. So it's crazy because these people just look across and they see all this beautiful architecture and stuff, and they're living in shambles. And
Right.
The Rio Grande is like this wide, literally, like
Yeah.
probably 6 inches wide. It's not a big river, so there's nothing grande about it. So it's just weird to me because I'm sitting here going, what's stopping them from walking over? Like there's literally almost nothing between like that I can visibly see other than this like big like divot for them to get across. I'm like, and they don't even try. It's weird. It's another one of those things that I'm like, this is just interesting to me. Like the fact that you could literally just walk over pretty much.
That is really, it is interesting.
Great.
Like there's no wall. There's nothing there.
You didn't build a wall. I've seen it. There's no wall.
Good heavens. Well, it must be just an understanding between two states.
Yeah, I'll see if I can't get a picture and send it to you, but it's
yeah, that would be fantastic.
It's weird. It's definitely every single time I go. And that's one thing about traveling, I will say. I don't know. I'm one of those people because there's a lot of people that I met that just don't see things like that. But like me personally, I can get in a plane and I fly a lot, like hundreds of times throughout the year. And every time I take off, I'm just still amazed at how the ground looks when we get up in the air. And like, even if I've been to El Paso like 100 times already, and every time I'm there, I'm just still amazed that it looks that way. And like, it just still, I get that same feeling every single time. Like I never get tired of it. Kind of like, with your wife and her, doing the hair thing. It's kind of, that got old to me. And it used to not. Every time I would do hair, I loved it and I loved it and I loved it. And I was so passionate, and I lost that passion. And now I have a new passion doing this. So I'm kind of like in that still like honeymoon phase with life on this. So it's kind of cool.
But you got a ton of places to continue to go to, which is amazing. Like I said, maybe you'll get back here again. I'm not sure. It all depends on what your roots are and what's needed, I guess.
It's random. I never even know.
I know.
They don't even tell us. Like I'll be out, I'll get to Shannon. Yeah. And I'll be hanging out in Shannon for a day, and then all of a sudden they'll be like, "Oh, you're going here, here, and here," and I'm like, "Okay." They just give me like 2 or 3 days notice, and I'm gone.
Right, you're done. And so you have someone else looking after the kids, and when you're working and stuff like that,
Yeah, they their dad, they stay with their dad, so we are not together anymore, but we're still really great friends. We just didn't work out, unfortunately, but I'm thankful for our friendship, so that means a lot. But he's actually Indian. He's
no way.
Yes. He's Indian, so I got a lot of like knowledge in cooking Indian food.
Yeah,
so I love it because my kids I call them little curry puffs. So my children are curry puffs, and their daughter looks just like me except brown.
Yeah, no way.
Yeah,
so cool. Yeah. And I believe they're on your Instagram account, if I'm not mistaken. Yes.
And my daughter, her hair is brown in all the pictures, but in person, when you take her outside, and she started when she was probably 3 years old, she has these two, when you pull her hair back, she has these two, I'm talking like penny copper strips. That
no kidding.
Hair, and everyone, like in every teacher, do you highlight her hair?
Yeah.
Nothing. It's natural. Like I have going white. I have all this white in my hair, and people are like, "Do you highlight your hair?" I'm like, "No." Drunk and
So
white.
that's the other good thing. You'll never go gray because red hair always goes white. So you're set. There's nothing to worry about.
I'm happy about that.
Yeah.
I'll go blonde. I don't mind gray. I think it would be cool to be an old salt and pepper lady, but
Okay.
I'm like, I'll be a platinum lady too. This is fine.
Absolutely. Yeah, I don't think pepper's in your cards.
No, it's not. I don't have a single. I'm like waiting because I'm, like I'll be 32 next month. So I'm like,
Yeah.
where's the gray hair coming in? Everyone my age has gray hairs.
Right.
No, mine's all just white. It's like
I hear you. Yeah. I'm the same way, except mine's just dark blonde. I don't know, whatever it is, but yeah. So, do you have any questions for me?
Not really.
No.
Because I watched some of the videos,
Yeah.
some of the other interviews and stuff. So I think
Yeah.
anything you talk a lot, with all that about the company and everything. And I
Yeah.
love the concept of the company, and I'm, actually really happy that he did give me the shirt because it like now that I have it, I do think about it a lot, and I'm like, it's just really neat to see and to share those things because as a ginger, like, even down to there's a website specifically made for redheads to have makeup. It's like a redhead. Yeah, exactly. So there's all sorts of different things geared towards us, which it's like, I think that's awesome because we are such a rarity, and at the end of the day it's like like I said, I look at myself and I don't really think like that, but then when somebody else points it out, so it's cool to be I should be more proud of the fact that I do have this awesome hair that I was blessed with. I didn't ask for it, it was just given to me, of course.
Yeah.
It's like I'm kind of like, okay, this is cool, people are recognizing it. And
yes. But you know what's interesting, so yes, there's sites, there's companies like mine, there's a whole bunch of, I'm not going to say there's lots, but there are a good number of companies that have the focus on the redhead culture. In your eyes, do you think that the redhead culture is in fact a culture worth exploring and exposing? Do you think it's important?
I think so, because I think, like I said earlier, there, especially like as kids, we do get picked on a lot. I think now it's a little bit better because people are more on the fact of don't look at other people. Like I think as parents, like we've, especially like in generations growing, like we're saying, don't, it's more of a really don't point. People are not, don't, because they have something different, you don't point that out or you don't say anything, everybody's equal type of thing, so It's like when I was a kid though, that wasn't necessarily the case, and I did get picked on a lot, but it's cool because as being somebody with like somebody different, even though it's not a huge difference, it does make you feel good to know that there is a community of you, because every time I see a redhead out in public, I'm like, it's like this like acknowledge thing, you just look at each other, or you notice each other. Like at my gym, there's two redheads that go to my gym. I'm the third, so there's three of us that I know of. And we always see each other and we don't talk to each other, but we just look at each other and we'll smile and we're like, what's up, because we're not on. So it's like it's like an unspoken thing.
Yes.
So it's cool to have like a community, because you can just kind of you're like, you're not alone, and it's not so weird or so different, because sometimes you do. There are times where I still feel like, man, I'm the only, I haven't seen a gender in a really long time. Like I'm alone.
Right. What's really interesting about that, and I love the word interesting, because I think this entire culture has a lot of amazing things that haven't come out yet. When you say something like, you look at another ginger and you're like, hey, there's this code, this code. We're looking for that code in a wearable product, or some kind of a design. I don't know what it is, because a lot of people that we've talked to they'd like to be able to have this code. So like a friend, like a friend bracelet or something like that. That gets split off, and half is on me, half is on somebody else, or whatever it is. They're looking for a symbol that they can recognize. People that have red hair can recognize a symbol, whether it's on a hat or whether it's on a shirt or whether it's, I don't know what it is yet, but whatever it is, hopefully organically we'll find it and it'll just kind of appear, because again, since 2018, we've talked to so many redheads, and I would have to say 75% of the people we talk to in serious conversations and fun conversations too, they just want that they know it. They know it exists because I've heard this before. But we're trying to find a way that we can marry that with a product that symbolizes
It's like
for
it's unique
everybody.
to us, and that's why
Yeah,
I like that shirt, because people have noticed when I do wear that shirt. They're like, "That's really awesome."
yeah,
They're like, "That's really cool," and it
right,
does make me. I'm like, yeah, it's like specific. It's there because there isn't a lot of that. Like you
yeah,
don't. It just makes you feel. I don't know. It's just like a different feeling. It's just cool to have, and it's like this is unique. It's like
right.
it makes me more unique, and it makes me feel a little bit more special, and it's like a cool feeling to have that. Knowing that there's more, and
Yeah,
when people
yeah,
recognize that, they're like, yeah, we look at you as a ginger, but like, yeah, you're that's cool.
yeah, yeah. Well, that's great. And you've probably seen lately, we've added a few new designs, and we're going to be adding a lot more. What's that?
I'm gonna get the tank top.
Which one?
I don't know. I'm a black. I like black. I love black. So
With a main logo or a new logo?
the main logo.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Tanks are pretty cool. Yeah, yeah. I had a picture. I think I had an Instagram one up there.
I
Yeah,
think
I
she's
did.
the black one.
She's wearing the black one. Yeah, yeah. The tanks are nice. Yeah, they're really nice. Nice time of year. Well, you wear them out probably all summer and winter anyway, because
Oh
it's warm down where you are all the time.
yeah.
So
The only reason why I have a jacket is because I'm taking this jacket. It's like I have the sleeves rolled up, but
yeah, yeah.
when you're on the plane, it's like cold. So, and I
Right.
have my AC running right now. As soon as I walk out of this house, this jacket's probably coming off.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm
Yeah.
comfortable now, but once I go outside, the feel is supposed to be 110 degrees today. So
Well,
tank top would have been perfect.
well, at least you had curly hair, because I'm assuming if you went out with straight hair, it just turned curly in 2 seconds anyway.
So the curls are a lie, believe it or not.
What?
This is not really. So I, being a hairstylist, is
Yeah.
recommended. I curled this with a chopstick.
Get out of town.
My hair is naturally straight.
So
But
a chopstick.
yep. So I have a chopstick, and I
Okay.
take a little piece of hair, and it takes about 3 hours. 3 hours. I hate to admit
What?
that. You just take it and you just wrap it around the chopstick, and you take a flat iron and you clamp it and hold it
Yep.
for like 10 seconds, and then you let go. So it does this, and I can wear it for about 5 days, 6 days.
So instead of a permanent straightener, it's a permanent curler.
I've always wanted the curls, and so that's the thing. Like, a lot of redheads have the curls, and that's one thing I don't have. My hair is
Yeah.
like this side is a little wavy, and this side sticks straight, so it's kind of weird. I have weird hair. But I have always wanted the curls, and I got a perm a couple years ago, but
Yep.
it grew out. And with my hair being so long at this point, and it's extremely thick,
Yeah.
for me to get a perm, it's just not. It's a lot of work, and I can't even find someone who will even willingly
Right.
do it, which is
Yeah.
sad. But because they look at me, they're like, "Girl, we're not gonna perm your hair. Why would you perm it?" They talk me out of it, and I'm
Yeah.
like, "But I'll pay you." They're like, "No, we don't want to do it." That's the thing. So I just curl it. Like, I'll do this like once every couple months. And Sean saw me do it a couple months ago,
Yeah.
and he was like, "Hey, next time you come here, you should wear it curly. That looks really cool." So I was like, "All right." So I did it for him.
Oh my God. So is it okay? So is the chopstick wooden or is it metal?
It's
What's the
wooden.
deal? It's wooden.
Yep, it's a
It's
wooden
a chopstick.
It's just a regular get from your Chinese food chopstick.
Yeah. Good Lord. I would never have thought that, but I don't have the
I
hair.
know a lot of people. It's when I do it though. That's the cool part, is nobody knows that it's not natural. So and that's one thing about being a professional hairstylist, is you
Yeah.
can play with stuff stuff like that.
Right. You
So,
can
yeah.
do it. There's one blog post right there.
Right, exactly. How
Done.
to do your chopstick curls.
How to do chopstick curls. That's exactly right. Yes, there you go. Yeah, well, that's fantastic. I mean, this is awesome. This is a really good conversation, and you never know where these are going to go, because I do these off the cuff. I have no idea what I'm going to say. I have no idea how I'm going to run this thing. You probably know we did it starting through COVID, and now it's people enjoy it. People want to come on and just talk, have a good, have a conversation about red hair, have a conversation about life and all that fun stuff. And I like to talk a lot, so I super enjoy these kind of conversations, and it gives me a chance to meet people and get a little closer to I don't even want to say customers, because to me, we're trying to build a community, and we can, whether it's one person at a time, we're going to keep on that path of exposing this rarity and trying to turn the tide on the stigmas that are still attached in many parts of the world. Is certainly over in Europe, it's still not, it's pretty bad. Not horrible, but bad enough where people comment on it, and there's still news and stuff about it. So we're trying to get folks like, we're trying to find ambassadors out there as well that can just, like, if it's like a Bieber or somebody, or somebody that has red hair like Ed Sheeran or something like that, just put this shirt on and talk about our cause, and then we're gonna get to a lot more redheads than we can get to on our own at this point. So
I think it's cool if I see another gender, it's like cool that they can see the shirt. Like, I have a couple of friends who are like, oh, that's a really cool shirt, because like I have a couple of redheaded friends that are back home. They're like, where'd you get that shirt? I'm like, and I tell them, oh, I saw this kiosk, and then I'm like, so this is their company, so hopefully somebody will order, that'll be awesome, because I think it's cool. Like, I loved it. As soon as I saw it, I was like, man, that's really me. You guys, like I said, your clothes, or else I would have bought one right on the spot. I'm like, hey, this
you might have walked away with more than just a T-shirt.
Probably, for sure.
So, but the good thing is, I'm going to send you a code, and that code's going to give you access to a nice discount for a little while, and then you can pass that code around to your friends too. And again, it's I just want people to get to the site, understand who we are, understand why we exist, and then if they choose to put on that coat of arms, if you will, as we're talking about it now, that's fantastic. And if they don't, as long as they know who we are and what we're doing, it's totally cool. I mean, I've had people on Zoom that they're not a customer at all, and maybe they will be someday. That it doesn't matter to me so much. What matters is that we have a good conversation, and we're getting to the nitty gritty of real life and real conversation, which, from what I'm hearing on the outside of things, people are enjoying them. So, I mean, why not keep them going? And gee, by the time, I don't know how long it would take, might have to do my numbers, but to reach 271 million redheads on a Zoom YouTube channel, I wonder what that would look like. It would take, because it'd be really interesting, but be a long time. It won't happen. I wouldn't see it.
Yeah, and they're saying we're going extinct. I don't believe that.
No, it's not happening.
I don't think that. I feel like I see more redheads now than I ever have. Maybe it's just because I'm more aware, but I feel like we're just not going to go out like that. Like, we're not going anywhere.
No, because 40% of the world's population carries the MC1R mutation gene, and so if you have 40% of the world's population that have the ability to create a redhead kid,
we're going anywhere.
There's not going anywhere. No, it's just not happening. So that means that's good news for us. I mean, if the redheads were extinct, perhaps we might even be a bigger company, because it would be like, snag it up quick, because when the redheads are gone, it's over. But no, it's not happening. It's not going anywhere. No, redheads are staying. Yeah.
Which I'm good with, though, because I think I think we're pretty cool. And I think we do have, like, the fact that we have such great hair too. Like, I mean, every redhead I've met, we just have great hair.
Good hair. Yeah.
I don't think I've met a redhead that doesn't have good hair.
Yeah, it's really funny. Like, you're right. We have 3 daughters under 10. I'm just trying to think. I'm looking around because I'm thinking they're here, but they're not. My eldest daughter, she's 10, and she has the kind of red that's her hair is straight as well, but her hair is really shimmery, and so in the sun, the different colors of this red hue just make her hair look like, people go like, what are you putting in her hair to make it shine so much? It's nothing, and especially if we flat iron it, then it really pops. Like, it's funny. It's amazing the colors that come out of her hair. So you're right. But our middle daughter, Mila, she has the best hair of the bunch here. So hers is not so red, but it's a mixture. Yeah, it's thick, very thick. Yeah.
Mine was paper thin. Like, my ears stuck out of my hair.
Really?
When I was a kid, and then as I got older, it just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And my mom was like, "Oh, okay, I shouldn't have given you all those vitamins when you were a kid to make it grow, because now it's just out of control." So that's what I mean. Like, we just have really great hair, and every red is so unique. And I even see redheads where I'm like, man, I wish my hair was that color red.
Yeah,
like, there's other redheads. I'm like, that's a really pretty red.
Because I'm trying to think, if I go back when your hair is straight, do you have some blonde, not blonde, but lighter tones?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like, even in the back, like if I lift my hair all the way up, you wouldn't be able to see it on this camera, but
Yeah.
like I have a huge chunk of just blonde in the back
Oh
of
yeah.
my hair. It's like random. I just get these like random splotches of blonde. Like I put a couple highlights in a while ago, but in somewhere in the front, but
Yeah.
they're pretty much grown out and I cut them all out now, but it's just growing white and I kept saying like, I thought, you didn't put them here. And she's like, I didn't. It's growing in white. So I look at the hair, like, oh my God, I'm getting it. So I guarantee you within the next, because most people get like gray hair right up here.
Yep.
Next, probably like within 5 years, I'm going to have a big chunk of white, like Elvira or something. If I'm like, welcome for it. I'm like, do all the blonde you
Bring
want.
it on.
Natural. And during the summer, I wear my hair up a lot and the sun just bleaches it. So I do a lot of natural highlights during the summer too, which I love. I'm like, it works out for me because I don't have to do anything to
That's
it.
right.
People ask me all the time, they're like, what do you do to your hair? I'm like, nothing. I don't even brush it.
Imagine the money you're saving. I mean, holy smokes.
That's one thing I love too. Like I love the fact that I don't have to, I used to spend so much money on dyeing it because I was like, I don't want to ever say I was ashamed of it, but I think it just got to a point where I was like, I'd rather people not notice it.
Sure.
And then finally, when I had my son, I was like, I got lazy and I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. And then when I started letting it grow, that's when everybody was like, man, your hair is beautiful. And that's when I think probably around 25 was when I really, really, really started embracing the fact that I had awesome hair. And it's sad to me that it took so long for me to realize that in a way, because if I wouldn't have gotten so like tortured as a kid, I probably would have embraced it. And now I know like why so many people told me, don't ever color your hair, don't ever do that. And then I did. And now I'm like, why did I ever do that? I look back at pictures and I'm like, ooh, what was I thinking? Like, no.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. That's
I'm happy
awesome.
that, and if we can, especially in our children, if you can instill that in them and, just hopefully like they'll never let anybody tell them any different. Cause I would have been, it's like you can say it so much, but at the end of the day, it's how you feel on the inside. So the fact that we can encourage them that being a ginger is this amazing thing, that's like a good thing, because I didn't have that necessarily. My parents did a good job. They loved it, but at the same time, they're like, if you feel better, then do what you need to do, like they were very supportive all the time. And they, my mom loved my red hair. She did her thing, but in our other generations, now I'm kind of like, your company is a positive, and, it's like, that's what we need to teach them, is it's okay to be different, because it's amazing.
Yeah. And that's that's the premise behind the company. I mean, if it wasn't for our kids, all four of them have red hair, so it was important. Yeah, it's important. It was important for us to and then have them involved. So we're about to do a small video, not a commercial, but more of an interview with my eldest daughter, 10-year-old Rhea, this week, and she came up to me a few weeks ago and said, I want to design a T-shirt for the business. And I'm like, okay, well, what do you want to do? What's the premise? Let's talk about it. So she came to me and she said, I want a shirt that says Fierce Ginger.
Yes.
And I'm like, okay, Fierce Ginger, sounds great. So so I ended up, I hired a graphic designer to help us get to what we, thought was an appropriate image around Fierce Ginger, and then it came back as a lion. And the lion has some different coloring, and inside it says Fierce Ginger. And, I looked up the meaning of where a lion, comes from, the really in-depth meaning of lion and what they mean. And it just kind of fits. So she's doing a video on that tomorrow or the next day. And then we're going to post that on the Facebook page. She's going to show it. So I've named it after her. So the collection of the Fierce Ginger is going to be named after her from here through time. So
I'll show you something. I have a ton of tattoos, by the way, just so it's not a random thing, but
shut up.
I'm a Leo, and I always say that my hair is my main, like, so
yes,
I'm gonna get that. I'm like, that's my shirt. You made it.
Man. Here, I'm gonna show it to you. Look at this.
I want this shirt. I'm like, this is it. Cause that's exactly, I embrace my Leo. Like, and I always say now that I've gotten into me, I
Yeah,
say my hair is my lion's mane and it
that
fits
is,
so perfectly.
yes, that is so cool. Look at this. Now, this is a kid's one, and you can't really
Oh,
see the coloring, but
I like
it,
that. That's so cool. They did awesome on the design.
they
I
did.
love it.
Yeah. And
I'll,
so we have adult ones, obviously adult ones too. I'm getting one. They look really cool on hoodies and whatnot. But the lion means there's a lot of meaning behind it,
there's
and
tons
so
of meaning behind the lion.
yeah,
I love it. That's
yeah,
awesome. I'm
that
gonna
is so cool.
I love how it looks like hair, like the way that they did the wording and stuff. It looks like the hair.
Yes.
And yeah, that's
Okay, I've
awesome.
got to see the tattoo one more time. You were too fast. Show me that tattoo.
Fun.
See if you can get closer. It's really interesting.
Yeah, I have a ton of tattoos. So I do because I am a ginger. I do a lot of color. So
That's fantastic.
yeah.
So, okay, tell me the story behind that.
So basically, I
Awesome.
just really embrace my okay, so the fact that I am a redhead
Yeah,
and I'm a Leo, like I said, I feel like I am a lioness. Like another thing about Leos or like lions in general, like you have a female lion and she hunts.
yeah,
So she's got this like fierceness around her, and
right.
she's a hunter and a provider, and that's how I am. Like I've always been like I've always gone out and gotten what I needed for my family,
Yeah,
but at the same time when she's basking under the tree and she has her cubs around her and her male lion, it's like everything gets brought to her at the same time. Like she's a queen, she's honored. So it's like I feel
wow.
like that in a way too, that everything I've ever wanted in life has been brought to me, and I can just kind of like it's like that manifestation type
Yeah,
of mindset too. So
yeah,
there's a lot of like different things with the lion that I feel like I literally just like harness and I like put out, and so it's like it's really neat. And like I care for my kids, and that's the lioness too. It's like she's a
yeah,
protector of her cubs, and
yes,
so it's like, and she's just fearless, and that's I feel like I've kind of gotten into that as I've gotten older. So when I kind of like really started embracing myself and figuring out who I was like I am the lion, so it's kind of funny because with my hair and everything, I'm like that's exactly what I exude is this like powerful creature. And so it's just kind of funny. So that's
yeah,
why I got that one finally. I was like that's appropriate now because like I
yeah,
feel like I'm like it's not just all of my tattoos have some sort of meaning behind
sure.
it. They're not
Yeah,
just like random, but
yeah,
I have one random one, but that I was young.
yeah,
I know.
yeah,
So I turned from a fish into a lion. It's
yeah.
good. It's a great progression in life.
That's awesome.
But yeah, so that's why I got that one because I feel like I finally have kind of fit that image and I kind of
Yeah,
fit that like personality. So that's why I finally did the lion. But so
yeah,
the shirt is awesome. I'm like, it's definitely
yes.
gonna get it.
That's great, and that's how we thought about it too when she came to me and said, and I don't know where she came up with fierce ginger. I have no idea. Like, I mean, it's not an uncommon word, but for her to come to me and say, I want a shirt that says fierce ginger, I just kind of like was blown away by it. I was like, yeah, let's do it. Let's get a design going, and then
Tell
that's
her,
gonna
tell
be.
her you met one today. Tell her that she's
Oh,
the
you
lion.
know.
You got the Leo, and she's all supportive of that one. That was
Oh, I'm gonna show her your tattoo. Absolutely, it's fantastic. She's gonna say, I want one of those.
not yet. Not yet. You gotta wait.
Not yet. Yeah, 10's a little too young. No, that's fantastic. Well, this has been This has been great. Like I've really enjoyed this. This is exactly how I was hoping it would go down, nice and chill, and conversations around multiple facets of activities you have going on in your life. So,
Oh, yeah. It's
so
never
it's
a dull
fantastic.
moment. I need a ghostwriter for my life. I will have a novel one day.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
A lot
Awesome.
of like things. So, I
Yep.
just document all of it. But I definitely, when I go to Ireland, if I get to
Yeah,
the
please do.
I will take pictures with the shirt.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
what like I said before, it's like I wanted to take a picture, but I was like, I don't just want to take a picture. That's so like,
Random.
so
Yep.
I'm like,
Yep.
I want to do it with my travels.
Right.
I wear the shirt and it's somewhere cool. It's like it's been around the world, and I
Yeah.
have a couple of little things like that I like take with me everywhere I go.
Perfect.
So
Yeah.
it's like that's another one of my things now is the
Awesome.
shirt comes with me.
Yeah.
So It'll go.
Well, that's great. We'll have to get you some more stuff out there too. Perhaps you'll be an ambassador with us.
I would love to be. That would be so cool.
I can send you information on that. It's real simple, real easy, yeah, basically what we'll do is we'll have you featured on our site and have a little story written from you and spread the word. I mean, that's what we're doing here. It's just fantastic.
Yeah, I've had opportunities to be ambassadors for other companies, but it's like I don't want to just. I don't know. Some of them I'm like, but this one I would do. I would definitely do it.
Yeah. It's
the ginger clothing company. That's my alley right there. I fit perfectly in there.
Amazing. And if you let me know if there's anything that we can do as a company to progress or anything. We're so wide open to having our community talk to us. If there's something that's missing, if we should add things, if we should whatever it is, like, don't feel that you shouldn't. I mean, we welcome all of our community to discuss with us and help us grow this thing together. So we're totally into that. In fact, we're really big into that.
Definitely doing great, especially with the new designs coming in. Gotta get
you did see it because you liked it. This afternoon I posted a little sample of a new design. We had all the different hair designs.
Yeah.
We're doing a gift card. This one here. Can you see that?
Oh yeah, I did that one. Yeah, I did like that one.
So that's coming as a design. We're looking to have up to 30 over the next between now and the start of next year. So, but they all have to mean something. So they have to be special. There has to be something unique about them that fits within the brand and all that. So if you're ever up into wanting to look at putting a design out, let us know.
Okay. I'll take my time on it, but if I think of anything good, I'll definitely send your way for sure.
The line would have been perfect, but now we already have that.
Yeah, that's the only one I had. No, I'm just
That's kidding. Right. All right. Well, listen, I'm gonna. When's your flight? It's late tonight.
Yeah, it's late tonight, so I'll leave here in a couple hours, and because I'm gonna fly out of Sanford, because Sanford actually has a direct flight to El Paso. It's like only the summertime, so I'm like, okay. Got no connections.
Beautiful. Love that.
Airport.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, listen, enjoy your trip this weekend, or I guess we'll be going for the weekend. Hopefully we get a chance to chat again. I'm sure now that we're connected on Instagram and through this and this connectivity, and then I'll send you some information on the ambassador side of things. I look forward to seeing what else there is to come from you, from photos or whatever else. And again, let us know if there's anything we can do on our side to help moving things along with us.
I definitely will. Thank you for having me.
All right. It's really fun. I really enjoyed this.
Thank you. Me too.
Okay. Take care. Have a good weekend.
Bye.
Okay, bye.